Each year, the Barbara Reimann Scholarship is awarded to a student athlete that has excelled in both the classroom and on the field. Reimann was American's first field hockey coach in 1967. She served several vital roles in AU's athletic department in a career that spanned over 20 years. Here's her story.
Barb is the kind of person that's a leader by example.
She just has a way about her that endures her to people.
She really tries to transform you into your best person.
She is another mom, she is an aunt, she is a friend.
As soon as my dad knew that Barb was going to be managing my life for the next 4 years, and her priority was academics, making sure I was prepared for life, and then field hockey, he was thrilled.
Hundreds of student athletes who to this day will thank her for their success as a student, not just an athlete, as a student. She took care of us.
I'd have to go to the store and buy oranges so that we could cut the, now maybe I would have a work study student in the office cut up the oranges in quarters, depending upon how much we paid for them. If they paid more than, if they were more expensive, they maybe got made and cut into eighths.
We always got our sliced oranges.
We only had one scorer, so we never kept any kind of statistics other than goals that were scored. Usually, if you were lucky, you had a timer and a scorekeeper, but if you couldn't corral enough people, you just had one.
Post-game was more where she invited the families down who came to watch the games to join us in our cookies and punch.
I just remember the table. I mean, it was just like a card table or a table with styrofoam with punch in it and drinks, and people would go, and that's what we would celebrate the game.
We have a cheer which has remained consistent in field hockey to this day. After the game is over, the team gathers around, they all put their hands or sticks in. Thank you refs, thank you officials, thank you Marymount or Maryland, thank you fans, and then cheers. But it's the same as it was probably 30 or 40 years ago. College athletics back in the mid to late 70s was very different than it is today. There were not a lot of opportunities for women.
For many years, Barb was having to carry along the uniforms, wash them herself, go out and flip the scorecard at the 50-yard line, and really just as a labor of love, keep the program going.
I spent a lot of time in the early 70s going downtown and with people demonstrating and so forth for Title IX, and going on Capitol Hill and talking to people to try and get Title IX passed. And then once it was passed, to try and convince the administrations in the various schools to implement Title IX so that we were receiving some assistance in the sports.
Our coach was here. We didn't have a defensive coach. We didn't have an offensive coach. We didn't have a goalie coach. She was our coach, but we still competed. We still had fun.
The true benefit of Title IX and its ramifications are that my student athletes, for the most part, have no idea that there was ever a time in which women didn't have the same opportunities as men on an athletic playing field.
I take great pride and enjoyment in just seeing former students coming back or seeing them socially and other things and keeping in contact with them.
She's somebody who just clearly really values the strength of relationships and giving back to a community and something bigger than herself. And that's something that I really just tremendously admire and feel a great responsibility to live up to.
My third visitor to see me after having my son was Barb Reimann.
She was at my wedding. She travels all over the country and even all over the world because she made a lot of these friends and contacts through coaching here at American University.
So she's somebody who, without having to talk to me about it, has shown me the most important qualities that you need to have as a leader, and that is to be just tremendously invested in your players, in producing a product with great integrity and great pride. And I think that for me has been the biggest inspiration, more than her having to tell me about it, because I can see it in her every day.
I've really valued her friendship over the years.
You always know that she's supportive of you.
She's really remarkable.
It was a difficult challenge editing all the great things people had to say about Reimann into one segment. She is truly an AU legend and was inducted into the school's Hall of Fame in 2001.